Sure. I am Maxine Nimmo. I have lived in Northern Rivers for almost 4 years. My practice is primarily theory-based. I do collage as well. Wanted to study photography, had no photography, so I studied art instead. Well, I'm interested in the theory side of art. My thesis at the moment is on framing contemporary biennales within a Wunderkammer model and how universality has been recontextualized for a new cultural context under cosmopolitanism. I do not have an income from my artistic practice. I do not expect to make an income from my physical collage practice. I do hope to make an income one day from my theory-based practice. I would like to be a teacher or a writer, but not yet. I do not have any employment to do with creative arts. I think it would be easier in the city. I think there is, especially with the art courses in cities, they usually have a specific art history course. It would be easier to find people to talk to bounce ideas off. There's way more galleries. There's probably also where the magazines are based. You could find work as a writer easier. Employment-wise, it's probably negative living in a rural community, but if this is where the change needs to happen, then it might be a positive that I'm here. If we could get a magazine going or a creative group working together to bring contemporary art practice to rural areas, then it might be a positive thing, but we need a lot of support. If I'm not around art people, I am not thinking like that. My vocabulary changes. I fall out of what's going on, especially because the art world moves so fast. You've got to keep on top of everything. It's hard, so if you're not around that, then it's easy to fall out of and get distracted by other things. I maintain my practice, my well-being and practice, by very good time management. Being a single parent, I have to organise everything around my child's routine, so I split my thesis into chunks. I have 4 chapters at the moment. I do 100 words every day or 700 words a week. It helps me keep on top of things and helps me to not get stressed. So originally I was living in Armidale. I did my high school there. There is a uni there, but there is absolutely no visual arts at that uni. There's a regional gallery, but it's quite substandard. There's lots of landscape paintings. There's no contemporary art, creative people or groups there. Definitely no theory. So, and my visual arts teacher recommended checking out SCU because that's where they had gone, and I moved here instead. I would say there's more creatively minded people here in Lismore, in Northern Rivers. I think maybe because Armidale is such a big agricultural town, but there is a lot more creativity in the Northern Rivers. Byron is such a big tourist town. We could have way cooler art events there than what there is at the moment. And it would be a good opportunity for emerging local artists to be seen by international tourists. We're close to the border, we're close to the Gold Coast, we're sort of close to Brisbane. We might be able to bring some of the contemporaneity from those places to here, while also maintaining our own rural creativity. We need to get rid of state-funded galleries and open up commercial galleries. Yeah, anyway. But actually I do believe that. It would help emerging artists, it would help local artists, you know. State-funded galleries that keep a permanent Eurocentric meta-narrative as a collection is not helping us diversify or be contemporary. It's just maintaining an old hierarchy. And commercial galleries, not as we think of them as having paintings on the wall for people to buy. Commercial galleries that do events, that do installations, that do immersive installations, that do digital media and video media, and that are breaking the boundaries of what is considered art. Yeah, contemporary galleries are very important for an art economy. It would show people that art isn't just paintings to be sold and bought and sold again, you know. Like, artists get, what, 5% of a painting being resold. That's not enough to make any money off. Like, it might sell for a bit, the starting price, but you know, people resell them, and then artists don't get anything off it. You know, it's not sustainable for artists to live off. Yeah, I think commercial galleries would really help rural art communities. Rural emergent artists especially, who can't get into city galleries because they're not local there and it's hard to travel and it's hard to make those connections, having commercial galleries in rural areas would really help them get their name out there and their practice out there, and add to this new narrative of contemporaneity that is showing multiple different ways of seeing the world and multiple different ways of communicating with the world, and how different people like have relations with one another and how their relations affect the world. I mean, I feel like job opportunities are a little bit bleak. However, it is what I'm passionate about. I think it helps you see the world in a different way, especially when science is so on top of everything and everyone tells us to rationalise everything. Art gives us a way to express things that are not usually expressible, especially for children. That's very important. Painting especially helps Poppy reconnect with her culture. She's Indigenous Australian. I think it's the same as teaching anybody about art. I just like to rant about art, really. I think it's a fascinating topic. There's so many different ways to express what you're trying to say with art, and there's so many different ways to use art mediums that aren't just painting or what people traditionally think of art. It's important to help people see that art isn't just painting, that it's not just a talent or something that you're born with, that you can work hard on it, and that there are different ways to communicate with the world, I think, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and teaching kids especially that it's not a useless topic, that it's not something that won't contribute to society. Like, you can always contribute to knowledge through art. There's always new things to learn. So I think it's incredibly important to teach kids.